Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Woman dies after being hit by a bus in St. James. A woman is dead after she was hit by a bus along the Rose Hall Main Road in St. James on Tuesday night. She has been identified as Esmeralda Russell of the Jarrett Street address in Montego Bay. She is suspected to be around 60 years old. Reports coming forward are that about 8:45 p.m., Ross was attempting to cross the road in the vicinity of the Holiday Inn Hotel when she was struck by the vehicle. She was subsequently rushed to hospital, but later died from the injuries she sustained. The police are investigating. Double murder in St. James. 2 men were shot dead during an attack by gunmen in Charing Hill in Green Pond, Montego Bay, St. James. One of the dead men has been identified as 20-year-old O'Neill Telwell, also called CG, an unemployed resident of Bridgetown District in Green Pond. The other victim has not yet been identified. Police described him as slim-built, of fair complexion and 6 feet tall. It is reported that about 10 p.m., residents reported hearing loud explosions sounding like gunshots and summoned the police. On arrival, police found Telwell's body on a dirt track lying on its right side in a pool of blood with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the upper body. He was wearing white merino, black Puma underwear, green camouflage jeans shorts, multicolored socks. The body of the unidentified man was seen lying on its back with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to his upper body. It was clad in blue shirt, blue and yellow shorts. He sported a cornrow hairstyle. The men were taken to the Conway Regional Hospital where they were pronounced dead. The bodies were later removed to the morgue. Police said at least 20 spent shells, most of them from high-powered rifles, were found at the scene. Man charged in near-fatal attack on cop. Police have charged a man in the near-fatal attack on a policeman on the 195 highway in Portmore, St. Catherine last month. The cop, who is still hospitalized, was shot, left for dead, and his motorbike and firearms stolen by his attackers. His almost lifeless body was found the following day by a passerby. Charged is Jovan Ellie Marshall, 22, a bear from Caribbean Estate, St. Catherine. Counter-terrorism and organized crime, CTOC, detectives arrested Marshall last Thursday. He was charged on Sunday. Marshall is charged with wounding with intent, robbery with aggravation, illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition, and conspiracy to rob. Reports were that about 8:50 on February 14, the policeman, a constable, was riding his motorcycle along the roadway when he was approached by 2 men also traveling on a bike. The men opened fire on the cop from behind, hitting him multiple times in his back. He was then robbed of the motorcycle, his license, firearm, and cell phone. The men then fled. The constable was found about 6:30 the following morning near the roadway, suffering from gunshot wounds. The police were summoned and he was taken to hospital where he was admitted in critical condition. Police Federation blasts media, cop over report on policewoman who lost gun in bushes. Some senior members of the Jamaica Police Federation are outraged over media reports of a female constable who reportedly lost her gun while relieving herself in bushes last weekend. The anger is also directed at cops who allegedly circulated photograph of the female constable on social media site Facebook. It would seem to me that some members of the JCF only know how to belittle their own colleagues, said a terse internal memo from a female executive member of the Police Federation obtained by reporters. She openly expressed her shame and disgust with the reporting of the incident in the media. The nasty headlines, in my opinion, is nothing short of distasteful journalism, the officer quipped. Reports emerged that the constable who is assigned to the St. Anne's Bay Highway Patrol lost her Glock service pistol with a magazine attached containing 79mm cartridges while on duty along the Londonderry Main Road. It is reported that she went to relieve herself in nearby bushes and realized about 6 minutes later that the firearm was missing. A search was conducted in the area in an effort to retrieve the weapon, but this proved futile. However, the weapon was reportedly found and returned by a member of the public. In another memo obtained by reporters, another executive of the Federation expressed disappointment in police officers who broadcast the name and rank of the officer. I condemn the repercussions, as we could have been temperate and support the member knowing that she will face disciplinary action, the memo said. The officer went on to lament that every member of the force has to seek medical attention in holding up their urine, and that is a fact. What happened with the firearm was unfortunate, but it was a result of responding to nature, the officer wrote. Although the firearm was returned, the Federation member said the affected policewoman has been reported left embarrassed and traumatized by the incident, especially in light of her personal life being affected by the incident. Both Federation members called on law officers to stand with and support the female constable in light of her facing disciplinary action. Women suffer daily from various sickness on account of the job. We don't complain. I am tired of being sick and tired. Colleagues, we must speak up for this female cop and other females in the organization, wrote the Female Federation member. Woman gets 2 years probation for making up story that she was raped. A woman who was charged with creating public mischief after the police said she falsely claimed that she was raped last year was given 2 years probation in the St. Anne Parish Court last Friday. The woman's identity is being withheld due to the nature of the case. She had pleaded guilty to the charges prior to her sentencing before Senior Parish Court Judge Michelle Salmon. Initial reports of the rape are that the woman sparked concern and fear among many Jamaicans after details circulated on social media in January 2021. The woman was also reported missing and found days later, the social media report said at the time. But after the police conducted a probe, it was determined that the woman had concurred her rape story. According to court documents seen by reporters, the woman reportedly stated that she was stressed at the time she opted to disappear. She is to be assisted with counseling by the probation department over the next 2 years as part of her sentence. At a February 21 meeting in the St. Anne Municipal Corporation, head of the St. Anne Police Superintendent Dwight Powell warned persons against making false claims. I am going to say to the public that whenever they are making reports to the police, they must be certain of where they are going, because when those reports are investigated and they are not proven, there are other resources that are left for law enforcement, Powell reported. Golden Spring Wi-Fi hotspot theft won't derail program, says USF boss. Despite the theft of the community Wi-Fi hotspot in Golden Spring in February, the Universal Service Fund's Chief Executive Officer believes that the 120 hotspots erected out of a total of 189 targeted locations for access point to be deployed will not require security precautions. On February 16, perpetrators made off with the equipment, which was installed for the following day's launch in the West Rural constituency. In a recent interview during the Jonestown Community Wi-Fi launch, CEO Daniel Dawes reaffirmed that the $7.5 million valid equipment could not be used for any other reason than what the burglars had in mind. He further stated that no security measures, such as placing tracking devices on the equipment, were necessary because the theft experience in Golden Spring was seen as one-off attack. Dawes said the police are currently dealing with the matter, which is expected to be resolved in short order. So far to date, it is not a major problem, just that one incident, he said, noting that this is where the police have been on board and involved in the initiative's launch of community Wi-Fi hotspots island-wide. The CEO also expressed that he is hopeful that this will not be the only case of theft as the Community Connect project continues. However, as the fiscal year comes to an end on March 31, 2022, giving way for the new financial year to commence in April 1, Dawes has raised concern that despite hard work and determination for the USF team, the project may not be completed in the set time frame. This owing to areas like St. James, Hanover and St. Elizabeth that, since the start of the program launched last year, have not been in receipt of any of the 3 access points that should be implemented in each constituency. We are on the ground and we are trying to push out as much as we can, said Dawes, who also lamented that the USF had issues in the past with providers of the equipment and as a result have had to take an alternative arrangements. During the launch of Friday's community Wi-Fi at the Jonestown Primary School, which benefited one of 3 areas in St. Andrew South constituency, Senior Superintendent Michael Phillips, who is the head of the Western Kingston Police Division, expressed that the deployment of the internet access was a ray of hope. What I am seeing here today is really a step in the right direction. I am really moved by it, he said, expressing that the installation will benefit both the students and the wider community. The superintendent also recalled the earlier trials that occurred after the pandemic struck the island in March 2020, when officers had to share their internet connection from a number of stations, including Admiraltown, Trenchtown, and Denhamtown, with children who were unable to attend online classes. He therefore wishes for locals to use the service to empower themselves, but also hope that it will improve citizens' communication skills with police officers in order to help to reduce crime and violence in the neighborhood. Access to Wi-Fi now is something that is very welcoming to these communities, because oftentimes they tell you that, hey, we don't have to make personal contact, but with the access to Wi-Fi, it means that there is a bridging of a gap, he stated. So I'm hoping that the community at large will really use this opportunity to communicate more with us and to let us know what are the issues that lead to the crime and violence in the communities within Kingston Western Division, he added. Dawes expressed confidence in his address that, regardless of the theft in Golden Spring, the members of Jonestown would not engage in the same illegal act. My only request of the members of Jonestown, please take care of the facility. I shall not forget we went over to Golden Spring, and the Thursday we went to launch, nobody, went up and stole one of the access points. I know this experience will not take place in Jonestown, he said. In the near future, the USF reported that it will work with Hartford's NSTA to ensure that internet facilities will be used for the training of young people in the respective communities, as well as collaborating with the United Nations Development Programme, which had agreed to help resurrect a number of community access points. Barista Foundation donates more than 300 devices to students. The Barista Foundation has donated 310 tablets and 15 laptops, valued at $10 million, to schools under the Ministry of Education, one laptop or tablet per child initiative. The schools to benefit from the donation are Tivoli Gardens High, Campbell's Castle Primary, Christina Lee's Primary, Fawn Primary, Green Pond Primary, Cardinal Primary, Lawrence Tavern Primary, Spalding's High, Cedar Grove Academy, and Seaford High School. The schools also receive laptops for teachers. The donation was made last Thursday during a function at the Tivoli Gardens High School in Kingston, which was attended by senior Barista executives including Executive Director of the Foundation, Tanika Trent-Wilson, and Minister of Education, Favour Williams. While Williams commended the Barista Foundation for its contribution and noted the support from corporate Jamaica, similar to the donation made by the Barista Foundation, is key not only to the personal development of beneficiaries and the education sector overall, but also to the country's socio-economic development. Trent-Wilson in the meantime said that education and youth development are key pillars of the Barista Foundation's mandate, noting that over the years, the foundation has made significant contributions in early childhood education through the work done in teacher training, developing student literacy and numeracy skills, and encouraging active parent involvement. With the widening technological device brought on by the pandemic, Barista, in doing its part, is contributing to bridging that gap by making this worthwhile contribution of devices to students and teachers across the island, thereby facilitating greater equity in access resources and mobility for the nation's children, said Chance Wilson. The Barista Foundation also committed to provide $2 million to support the Early Childhood Commission's ECC Raising the Standard initiative, and Chance Wilson said this was further an example of its dedication to the early childhood sector. This commitment will see schools across Kingston, St. Andrew, Manchester, and St. James receiving support in their efforts to meet the required 12 standards of ECC certification. The Barista Foundation remains intent on creating dynamic opportunities for young people to grow and develop via partnerships with other stakeholders within the education and youth development sector, while providing a platform for exposing students to financial literacy via engaging sessions. The provision of scholarships and bursaries for high school and tertiary students is another way the foundation is helping to support the growth and diversification of education opportunities in Jamaica, said Chance Wilson. The Education Ministry's One Laptop or Tablet per Child initiative is designed to promote inclusivity in the education sector. It aims to provide needy students with the requisite tools to function in the online teaching and learning environment. This includes ensuring equity in access to information communication technology-based learning. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.